Imagine standing in the heart of ancient Rome. The Colosseum roars with tens of thousands of voices. But this isn't a gladiator fight. A man is dragged into the arena, chained, bruised, begging for mercy. The crowd cheers louder. They are not here for battle. They are here to witness his suffering. The Roman Empire was built on roads, aqueducts, and laws, but also on fear. Public torture wasn't just punishment, it was theater. It was a way to remind the people who held power. And the methods they used were so brutal, so horrifying, that most of them were buried deep in history. Until now. Today, we uncover the forgotten tortures of ancient Rome. Cruelties designed not only to punish, but to break the human spirit. From crucifixions to being sewn into sacks with wild animals, these punishments reveal a side of Rome that few dare to speak about. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you will never look at Rome the same way again. Rome wasn't just an empire of soldiers and emperors, it was an empire of laws, and those laws were enforced with brutal clarity. Crime, rebellion, even insulting the wrong person could lead to punishments beyond imagination. But punishment in Rome wasn't carried out in silence. No, Rome made sure it was a spectacle. Executions and tortures were performed in front of the masses. The message was clear. This is what happens when you defy Rome. It wasn't only about justice, it was about control. By making suffering public, Rome turned pain into entertainment. People would watch, cheer, and remember that Rome's power was absolute. And so, the empire invented some of the most horrifying tortures in human history. Crucifixion, perhaps the most infamous Roman punishment. Victims were nailed or tied to wooden crosses and left to hang for hours, even days. Death came slowly through exhaustion, suffocation, and blood loss. It was designed not just to kill, but to humiliate. The sight of bodies lining the roads was a warning to all who passed by. Damnatio ad bestias, condemnation to the beasts. Prisoners, criminals, and slaves were thrown into the arena with wild animals, lions, tigers, or bears. The crowd roared as the beasts tore them apart. For Rome, it was not only punishment, but also entertainment. Ponacale, the sack of death, one of the strangest and most terrifying punishments, was reserved for parricides, those who killed their parents. The condemned was sewn into a sack with a dog, a snake, a monkey, and a rooster, then thrown into a river, struggling in darkness with furious animals, until drowning it was a death designed to erase all dignity. Burning and branding, some criminals were burned alive, their screams echoing through the city. Others were branded with hot irons, the mark forever burned into their flesh, a living reminder of their crime. Exposure and starvation. Not all punishments were fast. Some prisoners were locked in dark pits, starved until madness or death consumed them. Others were tied in public, left for days until the sun, cold, and thirst finished the work. For the people of Rome, torture was both fear and entertainment. Families brought their children to watch executions, just as we might watch a theater play today. But imagine the families of the condemned forced to watch their loved ones die in agony. The screams, the blood, the humiliation. Rome's glory was built on the suffering of thousands, whose names were never remembered. The empire that gave us law, architecture, and art also gave us cruelty beyond imagination. Rome's tortures remind us of a chilling truth. Power often hides its cruelty behind greatness. We remember the emperors, the marble statues, the shining roads. But behind all of it were screams the history books often forget. Rome eventually fell. Its glory faded, its cruelty ended. But the lesson remains. An empire built on fear cannot last forever. And perhaps that is why we must remember these forgotten tortures. Not just to be horrified, but to learn. To understand that true power must never be built on cruelty. If you found this glimpse into Rome's darkest side eye-opening, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More hidden truths of history are waiting.